Ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason comfort feels good. It's safe, it's predictable, it's familiar. It's that soft blanket on a cold morning, warm, peaceful, and hard to leave. But here's the truth, fascinated. The same comfort that makes you feel safe is the very thing that keeps you trapped. Your comfort zone isn't your home, it's your cage. The comfort zone is a silent trap that disguises itself as safety. It feels warm, familiar, fascinated, and predictable, which is why so many people stay there. But the truth is, the comfort zone doesn't nurture progress. It protects you from it. When life feels easy, it's rarely because you're growing. Fascinated, it's because you're standing still. Comfort gives you a sense of peace, but that peace is an illusion. It's not the calm that follows growth or success. It's the calm that comes from avoidance. Fascinated, you're not at rest. You're stuck in place, afraid to move. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to leave. Every person dreams of becoming more skilled, more confident, fascinated, but more fulfilled. But the path to more never runs through the comfort zone. Growth requires discomfort, uncertainty, and sometimes even failure. Fascinated, it demands that you step into situations where you don't have all the answers and where you might stumble. But that's where life happens. Think about how you learn to walk. You didn't master it by staying seated. You stood up, fascinated, fell, cried, tried again, and eventually found your balance. Every meaningful achievement in life follows that same pattern. You have to risk falling to learn how to rise. The problem is, fascinated, the comfort zone teaches you to fear that process. It tells you that failure is bad and that discomfort means danger. But discomfort isn't danger, it's data. It's your body and mind signaling that you're in new territory. Fascinated, that you're stretching beyond what's familiar. That's not something to run from, that's something to run toward. Because every step outside the comfort zone, no matter how small, expands it. What once scared you becomes normal. Fascinated, and that's how you evolve. Many people confuse stability with progress. They think if life feels steady, they're doing well. But steady isn't always growth. It's often stagnation disguised as success. Fascinated, a plant that stops growing is dying, and the same is true for human potential. If you aren't challenging yourself, you're not living up to what you could be. Fascinated, you're surviving inside the walls of your comfort zone while life passes by outside. The danger isn't failure, it's complacency. Because comfort doesn't just limit what you do, it limits who you become. I'm fascinated. Consider the most inspiring leaders and innovators in history. They didn't achieve greatness by staying comfortable. They questioned what others accepted. They took risks that others avoided. Fascinated, they faced uncertainty and pushed through fear. They understood that comfort creates illusions, not progress. Each challenge they embraced added new depth to their character and new power to their purpose. Fascinated, the discomfort they endured became the foundation of their growth. The same principle applies to everyone, whether you're starting a business, learning a skill, or pursuing a dream. Fascinated, the moment it starts to feel uncomfortable is the moment you're growing. Comfort keeps you where you are, but discomfort moves you forward. And yet, most people choose to stay where they feel safe. Fascinated, because it's easier to live with the regret of not trying than to face the fear of failing. But over time, that regret becomes heavier than any temporary fear could ever be. The comfort zone promises peace, but delivers emptiness. Fascinated, it tells you that you're fine where you are, but deep down, you know you're capable of more. The human spirit was never meant to live behind invisible walls. It was built to explore, to expand, to evolve. Fascinated. So when you feel that pull of fear before taking a leap, remember this, it's not a warning, it's an invitation. It's life calling you to grow beyond illusions and into progress where real fulfillment begins. Fascinated, fear is one of the most misunderstood emotions in the human experience. Most people treat it as a stop sign, something that tells them to turn back or stay put. But fear isn't the enemy, it's information. I'm fascinated. It's a natural signal that you're stepping into new, unfamiliar territory. When you feel fear, it doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're on the edge of growth. It's the body's way of saying, fascinated, pay attention, something meaningful is about to happen. Yet, too often, people mistake that signal for danger and retreat into the comfort zone where nothing grows and nothing changes. Fascinated, every great achievement in history was born in the presence of fear, not the absence of it. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck isn't bravery or luck. It's interpretation. Fascinated, successful people don't see fear as a wall. They see it as a doorway. They feel the same uncertainty, the same anxiety, but instead of retreating, they take a step forward. They understand that fear and purpose walk side by side. Fascinated, the bigger your dream, the louder your fear will be. It's not there to stop you. It's there to test how much your dream truly matters. Think about the first time you did something scared you. Speaking in public, fascinated, trying a new skill, confessing your feelings, or taking a risk that could change your life. Your heart raced, your hands trembled, and your mind told you to turn back. But when you went through with it, something shifted. You grew. Fascinated. That rush of fear turned into pride, into confidence, into strength. That's the secret. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the mastery of it. True courage is feeling afraid and doing it anyway. The problem is that society teaches us to run from fear instead of facing it. We're told to seek comfort, to find security, to avoid risk. But in doing so, we shrink our possibilities. Fascinated. Fear is a gatekeeper. It stands guard at the edge of every new level of your life. If you let it, it will keep you confined. But if you face it, it will open the gate to growth. Behind every fear lies something you deeply want: freedom, fascinated, purpose, success, love, or confidence. The discomfort is just the toll you pay to cross into that new space. Leaders, innovators, and dreamers understand this truth deeply. They don't eliminate fear, they learn to partner with it. Fascinated, they know that fear is a sign they're moving towards something significant. When you pursue a goal that's worth your time, fear naturally appears because it challenges your sense of safety. Fascinated, but that's what makes the journey powerful. The moment you feel fear, you have two choices: step back into security or step forward into possibility. Growth only happens when you choose the second option. You can't avoid fear. Fascinated, but you can redefine your relationship with it. The next time fear shows up, don't ask, how can I get rid of this feeling? Ask instead, what is this fear trying to tell me? Most of the time, I'm fascinated. It's telling you that you're on the right path, that what you're attempting actually matters. Fear will never disappear completely. It evolves as you grow. The key is to keep walking with it. I'm fascinated, to make fear your compass rather than your cage. The people who achieve extraordinary things don't live without fear. They simply decide that fear will not decide for them. They use it as fuel. Fascinated, as proof that they are alive and moving towards something meaningful. Fear is not your enemy, it's your teacher. It's there to remind you that you're growing, that you're stepping into your potential. Fascinated, and that the best parts of life are waiting for you just beyond it. Discomfort is the birthplace of growth. Every step forward in life, every skill mastered, fascinated, and every dream achieved has one thing in common: it came through moments of discomfort. Yet most people spend their lives avoiding it. They associate discomfort with failure, pain, or weakness. Fascinated, not realizing that it's actually a sign of progress. The truth is, growth and comfort can never coexist. You can choose to stay comfortable or you can choose to grow, but you cannot do both at the same time. I'm fascinated. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is evidence that you are evolving into something greater. When you begin something new, a job, a project, or a habit, it always feels uncomfortable at first. You stumble, you second guess yourself. I'm fascinated. And you wonder if you're cut out for it. That's not a sign you're failing, it's a sign you're learning. Just as muscles grow by being stretched and challenged, so does character. When you lift weights, fascinated, your muscles tear slightly under the strain, and that micro tear is what allows them to rebuild stronger. In the same way, the struggles and discomforts you face are tearing away your old limitations. Fascinated, making space for something stronger and wiser to grow in their place. The problem is that society has conditioned us to chase ease and convenience. We want instant results, quick comfort, and guaranteed success. Fascinated. But real growth doesn't happen in the world of instant gratification. It happens in the grind, in the discipline, and in the perseverance through pain. Fascinated. The discomfort of trying and failing is far more valuable than the comfort of never attempting at all. Because even in failure, you learn something that success can't teach: resilience, patience. I'm fascinated in the understanding of your true capacity. Discomfort is also the great revealer of character. When things get hard, most people retreat. They go back to what's safe, what's familiar, what doesn't hurt. I'm fascinated. But those who endure discomfort, who stay in the struggle, are the ones who rise above. They are the ones who discover what they're truly capable of. Fascinated. It's not talent or intelligence that separates the great from the average. It's the willingness to stay uncomfortable long enough to learn, adapt, and grow. I'm fascinated. Every breakthrough begins with a moment when quitting feels easier than continuing. The people who push through that moment are the ones who change their lives. Think about any area of growth in your own life. I'm fascinated. Maybe it was learning to speak confidently, facing rejection, or developing discipline. None of it felt easy in the beginning. But over time, what was once uncomfortable became natural. Fascinated. That's the gift of discomfort. It transforms fear into familiarity. The first time you face a challenge, it feels impossible. The second time, it feels manageable. The third time, it feels routine. Each time you face discomfort, fascinated, you expand your limits and redefine what's possible for you. It's important to understand that discomfort is not punishment, it's preparation. Life uses discomfort to shape you for what's ahead. When you're challenged, fascinated, it's because something greater is being built within you. Every struggle, every doubt, every failure is training your resilience and sharpening your focus. Discomfort teaches you to stay grounded under pressure. I'm fascinated to adapt when things go wrong and to keep moving forward when success seems far away. Those lessons are priceless because they build the kind of strength that lasts long after the challenge is gone. Fascinated. So the next time you find yourself in discomfort, don't run from it. Recognize it for what it is, a signal that you are growing, a reminder that you are alive, and an invitation to rise. I'm fascinated. The moments that test you the most are the ones that transform you the deepest. Growth demands discomfort because comfort keeps you the same, but discomfort gives you the power to become something more. Fascinated. The cage we live in is rarely built by others, it's built by us. Every decision we make, every fear we obey, and every excuse we repeat adds another bar to the walls around us. We convince ourselves that circumstances, people, fascinated, or luck are what limit us, but in truth, it's our own choices that create the boundaries of our lives. The comfort zone is a self-made prison. It's constructed slowly, almost invisibly, through patterns of avoidance, procrastination, fascinated doubt. Each time we say, I'm not ready, I'm not good enough, or maybe later, we tighten the locks on our own potential. I'm fascinated. It's easier to blame the world for our limitations than to take responsibility for them. We tell ourselves stories to justify staying small. The economy is bad. People won't understand. It's too risky. Fascinated. But those are not walls. They're excuses disguised as protection. The truth is, most of what holds us back exists only in our minds. Our fears of failure, rejection, or judgment build invisible barriers that feel real. Fascinated, even though they're entirely self-imposed. The bars are made of hesitation, not steel. And because we built them, we also have the power to break them. Breaking free begins with awareness. You can't escape a cage you refuse to see. I'm fascinated. Many people are trapped not because they lack potential, but because they've grown comfortable with their limits. The cage feels safe, predictable, and familiar. You know exactly what to expect inside it, and that's comforting. I'm fascinated, but that comfort comes at a cost. It keeps you from experiencing the unknown, from testing your strength, from discovering who you could become if you step beyond those boundaries. The comfort zone protects you from pain. Yes, I'm fascinated, but also protects you from progress. When you accept that the cage is self-made, something powerful happens. You take back control. You realize that you don't have to wait for permission to grow. Fascinated. You don't have to wait for the perfect timing, and you don't have to wait for conditions to be ideal. You built the cage, which means you hold the key. Every small act of courage, speaking up, taking a risk, fascinated, starting something new loosens the bars a little more. The more you act, the more freedom you gain. And once you start experiencing life outside that comfort zone, you'll never want to go back. Fascinated. But escaping your self-made cage isn't easy. It requires honesty, the kind that forces you to confront your fears and question your habits. You have to admit that you've been playing small. Fascinated, that you've been choosing safety over growth. That's uncomfortable, but it's also liberating because once you take ownership of your cage, you stop being a victim of it. Fascinated, you stop waiting for external change and start creating internal transformation. Fascinated, growth begins the moment you stop saying, I can't, and start asking, how can I? It's also important to remember that freedom doesn't come all at once. You break out of your cage piece by piece, decision by decision. I'm fascinated. Every time you do something that scares you, take the stage, make the call, chase the dream, you prove to yourself that the cage was never as strong as you thought. Over time, you begin to see that the walls weren't real. I'm fascinated. They were made of fear, and fear loses its power when faced with action. Your comfort zone will always try to convince you to stay inside, whispering that it's safe and familiar. But deep down, you know you're capable of more. Fascinated, you know there's a world beyond those bars waiting for your courage to step through. The cage is self-made, but so is your freedom. I'm fascinated. The difference between being trapped and being free lies in one simple truth. The moment you choose courage over comfort, the door opens. Freedom isn't found in the familiar, it lies just beyond it. Fascinated. The comfort zone gives the illusion of safety, but in reality, it limits your experiences, dulls your ambition, and keeps you from discovering your true potential. Fascinated. Familiarity feels good because it's predictable. You know what will happen, how things will feel, and what to expect. But nothing new is ever born in predictability. Everything extraordinary, every breakthrough, fascinated, begins where the familiar ends. The people who live fully are those who dare to step into the unknown, because that's where freedom and growth truly exist. When you stay within the comfort of what you already know, fascinated, life becomes repetitive. You wake up, do the same things, think the same thoughts, and repeat the same patterns. It feels safe, but deep down, there's a quiet restlessness. It's that small voice inside whispering, fascinated. There's more out there. That voice is the part of you that craves expansion, the part that knows your purpose isn't to survive, but to evolve. Freedom doesn't come from avoiding risk. It comes from embracing it. I'm fascinated. It's the act of choosing exploration over stagnation, of saying yes to what scares you because you know growth lies on the other side. Comfort zone life becomes a teacher. Every new experience, every unfamiliar situation, fascinated. Every challenge becomes a lesson in resilience, courage, and self-discovery. You learn more about who you are not by staying comfortable, but by being tested. Discomfort strips away pretense and reveals character. Fascinated. When you face uncertainty, you start to understand your true strength. That's the paradox of growth. The more uncertain things feel, the more you discover about yourself. And with every challenge you overcome, fascinated, your confidence expands, your perspective widens, and your freedom deepens. Stepping into the unfamiliar doesn't mean recklessness. It means courage guided by purpose. I'm fascinated. It's not about abandoning stability, but about refusing to let fear dictate your limits. True freedom is not the absence of fear, but the mastery of it. It's knowing that fear will always exist, but choosing to move forward anyway. I'm fascinated. It's in that movement, that act of stepping into the unknown, where you find liberation. The more you do it, the stronger you become, and the more you realize that fear was never the enemy, inaction was. I'm fascinated. Every opportunity for freedom starts with a decision, the decision to step out of what's comfortable and into what's possible. Think of the times you've taken chances. Maybe you spoke your mind when it felt risky. Fascinated. Pursued a goal others doubted, or left behind something familiar to chase a dream. In those moments, you weren't just changing your circumstances, you were reclaiming your freedom. Fascinated, you were proving to yourself that you're capable of more than your comfort zone allows. Each time you cross that invisible line of fear, the world expands, and so does your belief in what you can do. Fascinated, familiarity might give you a sense of peace, but it's a false one. Real peace comes from knowing you're living fully, from knowing that you're growing, evolving, and becoming more each day. Fascinated, when you confine yourself to what's familiar, you trade freedom for certainty. You give up possibility for predictability. But the moment you step outside, even if it's uncomfortable, you reclaim your life. Fascinated, you realize that freedom isn't somewhere far away. It's waiting for you the moment you decide to take a risk, to explore the unknown, and to trust yourself. The truth is, everything you want, success, happiness, fascinated, fulfillment, exists beyond your comfort zone. The world outside is not your enemy, it's your opportunity. Freedom lies beyond familiarity, because that's where growth happens, that's where courage is built. I'm fascinated, and that's where the real adventure of life begins. When you break your cage, you do more than free yourself, you build a future. Every act of courage, every risk taken, Every decision to step beyond comfort reshapes not only your own path, but also the world around you. Growth is contagious. When one person dares to rise, others are inspired to follow. Your courage becomes a signal, fascinated, a spark that reminds others that change is possible. Breaking your comfort zone isn't just about personal progress. It's about creating a ripple effect of transformation that can reach far beyond your own life. Fascinated, every person is born with potential, but potential means nothing if it stays trapped behind fear. The comfort zone is that invisible wall that keeps potential locked away, convincing you to play small, to wait, to settle. Fascinated, but once you break through, something extraordinary happens. You stop living in reaction to life and start creating it. You stop asking for permission and start leading your own journey. I'm fascinated. The future you want isn't waiting somewhere outside. It's built by the choices you make today. Each time you push against your limits, you carve a path toward that future. Breaking the cage doesn't mean destroying who you are. Fascinated, it means releasing who you were meant to become. The version of you that lives inside your comfort zone is only a shadow of your true self. To uncover your full potential, you must face challenges, embrace uncertainty, fascinated, and take action even when the outcome is unclear. That's how strength is built, not through comfort, but through struggle. When you face the discomfort of growth, you don't just change your situation, you transform your mindset. Fascinated, you begin to see obstacles as opportunities, failures as lessons, and fear as fuel. The process of breaking free is rarely easy. It requires discipline, self-awareness, and persistence. You'll face moments of doubt. Fascinated, times when it feels easier to step back into what's familiar. But every time you push forward, no matter how small the step, you reinforce a new identity, one built on courage instead of fear. Fascinated, that's how you build a future worth living, by consistently choosing progress over comfort, purpose over ease, and passion over hesitation. The strength you gain from those choices compounds over time, turning into wisdom, resilience, I'm fascinated, and confidence that guide you for the rest of your life. What's even more powerful is how your growth impacts others. People don't follow words, they follow examples. When they see someone daring to dream, taking risks, fascinated, and pushing past fear, it awakens something within them. You become a living reminder that breaking free is possible. Your journey gives others permission to begin theirs. That's how change spreads, one brave act at a time. Fascinated, the courage to step outside your comfort zone doesn't just build your future, it builds a better world. Freedom in its truest form is the ability to live authentically, to express your values, pursue your passions. Fascinated, and contribute to something bigger than yourself. You can't do that from inside the walls of fear or comfort. You do it by taking responsibility for your growth and daring to act. Each time you break your cage, fascinated, you set a new standard for what's possible, not just for you, but for everyone watching. You become the proof that transformation is real, that courage can rewrite a life. Breaking your cage is not the end of the journey. Fascinated, it's the beginning of becoming who you were meant to be. It's the foundation upon which every dream, every purpose, and every legacy is built. The moment you decide to step beyond your comfort zone, I'm fascinated, you start building your future, one bold step, one courageous choice, one act of faith at a time. That's how freedom is created. That's how the future is made. Your comfort zone may feel safe, but it is in reality, fascinated, a cage that limits your potential and keeps you from experiencing the fullness of life. Growth, freedom, and fulfillment exist beyond familiarity. Fascinated, in the spaces where fear and discomfort challenge you to rise above what you once thought possible. Every step outside the comfort zone, no matter how small, is a step toward discovering your true strength, purpose, and potential. Fascinated, fear is not a stop sign, but a signal that you are on the edge of meaningful change, and discomfort is the vehicle through which transformation occurs. By taking responsibility for the cage you've built, embracing uncertainty, fascinated, and acting despite fear, you reclaim your life and begin to build a future defined by courage, growth, and authenticity. Your comfort zone may feel safe, but real life freedom and opportunity await beyond its walls.